Hi guys, and welcome back to another Premier League prediction video. And you best turn your headphones up now, or your computer, whatever you're watching on, turn it up, because I got 4 scores correct. Very happy with that. 4 out of 10 is one of my best weeks ever. Might sound like it's not a lot, but to guess 4 scores completely correct out of 10 is very, very good going. So I'm very happy with that. Starting off, it was Man City beating Southampton 4-0. Moving on to Palace beating Leeds 2-1. Then the big one, Arsenal beating Liverpool 3-2. I got it bang on. Very happy with that one. And then the last game, bit of a shock as well. Forest drawing 1-1 with Villa. I got that one correct too. So 4 scores there. Very, very good going. If that doesn't deserve a like and a subscribe, I'm not too sure what does. So make sure that you hit that like button and hit the subscribe button, as we're on our road to 200 subscribers and I'm hoping to get there soon. Without further ado, let's get on to these round fixtures and hopefully we can get more scores correct. And we start off with Brentford up against Brighton. Brentford aren't getting on so well at the moment. They've only won 1 out of their last 7 fixtures, and they lost 5-1 to Newcastle in their last game, so a very big loss. Brighton did lose 1-0 to Spurs, but they did do pretty well in that game, were very unlucky, and before that they got a 3-3 draw with Liverpool, and they've been in very good form. For this one, Brighton, for me, are full of goals. They're an exciting team and they're pretty good at the back as well. So I'm going to go Brighton to win 3-1. Moving on to Saturday's fixtures and starting off with Leicester up against Crystal Palace. How's Brendan Rodgers doing at the moment? Not so well. And it's a surprise because they lost 6 in a row. Obviously very, very bad. But then they managed to beat Forest 4-0 and I thought Leicester were back. I expected them to go on, get a second win in a row against Bournemouth, but they went back to losing ways and lost 2-1. So very disappointing for Leicester, and I'm not too sure what's going on with them because they've got attacking players that can do well. You know, James Maddison's had a great season so far, but defensively, they're not there. They conceded 2 goals in, I think, 3 minutes against Bournemouth. It's not good enough. And if Leicester carry on this way, Brendan Rodgers will be out the door very, very soon. Now, they're up against a Palace side that managed to get their second win of the season at the weekend. 2-1 against Leeds. And when Palace are at it, they are very, very good. But they do seem to draw a lot of games. Leicester at home here. I've got a feeling that Leicester are going to get some out of it because they have got goals in their squad. So I'm going to go for Leicester to get a point in a 2-2 draw. Fulham take on Bournemouth next. Now the 2 newly promoted sides have started the season pretty well. Fulham have lost 2 in a row, but they've managed to get quite a few wins under their belt so far. Mitrovic is missing, which is probably why they've been losing, not been scoring too many. They'll hope that he's back soon, but I think they've got some quality players that really can help them on their way to some more points. Bournemouth are doing well, unbeaten in 5. When Parker was there, they weren't doing much, and now unbeaten in 5 under Gary O'Neill. You know, he hasn't lost a game yet. They beat Leicester 2-1 last time out. They're in decent form, which is why I feel quite harsh that I'm going to go for a Fulham win. I feel like with Bournemouth, I've just looked at their squad and thought, no, you're going to go on and lose pretty much every game. And I don't think I've predicted them to win any games yet, even though they're in decent form. But I'm not going to go for them to win again, or even get a point. I'm going to go Fulham, and I think they'll win it 2-1. A big clash at the bottom of the table now. Wolves up against Forest. Wolves sacked Bruno Lage. The first game that the assistant manager takes over, they lose 3-0 to Chelsea. Didn't look like an attacking threat again. I really worry about this Wolves squad. I thought they were going to have a good season because of how well Bruno Lage did last season, but they're not looking too good. They don't look like they can score goals. It's worrying. And it's quite a similar situation with Forest, as they don't look like scoring many either. They did manage to pick up a point in their last game, 1-1 against Villa. They'll be hoping that they can build some momentum from that. But I just don't see where their wins are going to come from. For this one, however, I don't really think any team's going to win it. I think it will be straight down the middle, 1-1. Spurs up against Everton now. And Spurs, they got back to winning ways. They lost 3-1 to Arsenal, but bounced straight back with a 1-0 win over Brighton. Good result because Brighton are in very good form. And Spurs will hope that they can push on now, get some more wins, climb the table. But Everton stand in their path. And Everton were 6 games unbeaten before losing 2-1 against Manchester United. But Everton look like a different side this season. They look very good defensively. They surprisingly look capable of a goal, even though they don't have many good attacking players. And I'm not too sure which way to go, to be honest. I was very tempted by the draw, but I'm just favouring the home side. I think because they're at home, because they don't lose many, and they've won quite a few, I think they're just going to get the job done by another 1-goal margin. Spurs to win, 2-1. Villa take on Chelsea now. Sunday's game, and Villa aren't in great form. Even though they're unbeaten in 4. Sounds strange. They've won 1, drawn 3. I think they'll be happy with the first draw and win, but the last 2 games are where they will be very disappointed. A 0-0 draw against the 10-man Leeds side, and a 1-1 draw against Nottingham Forest, who couldn't get a point to save their lives, are making it look like Gerrard's doing a very bad job. I'm not sure that's the case. Half the team works, because defensively they have started to pick up. They are hard to score against, but they can't score goals. Their issue is finding the back of the net. Their attacking players aren't doing enough. Chelsea, on the other hand, won their last 3 league games in a row, and they've just done the double over AC Milan in the Champions League with a 5-0 aggregate. So Graham Potter is settling into life very well. And for this one, I think Chelsea will win it, but I'm going to go down that route of Villa. They can't score goals. They're not conceding too many. So Chelsea to win, 1-0. Leeds take on Arsenal now. And Leeds haven't been good since that 3-0 win over Chelsea. They haven't won in their last 5, and they lost 2-1 against Palace in their last fixture. Arsenal are in very good form, top of the league, and I'm very, very impressed by their last 2 results. A 3-1 win over Spurs and a 3-2 win over Liverpool, which I correctly guessed, so very happy with that score prediction. And Arsenal now have really shown that they are not to be laughed at. I know a lot of people after that Tottenham game said, they had 10 men, so, you still haven't been tested. Well, I think that last result against Liverpool has shut quite a few people up, because Arsenal are the real deal. They look very impressive, and this isn't me saying they're going to challenge for the title, because I think Man City will have it wrapped up and have quite a big margin. But I seriously think that Arsenal are the strongest contender for second place. They look so good at the moment, and as long as they don't get big injuries to key players, I think this sort of form will carry on. So very, very impressed with Arsenal. And for this game, I don't see anything other than an Arsenal win, which means Leeds will get all 3 points. But I'm going to go Arsenal to win, 2-0. Man United take on Newcastle next. And this looks like a very interesting game. Man United are in very good form. They've won 5 out of their last 6 including against Liverpool and Arsenal, and their last game was a 2-1 victory over Everton, who were unbeaten in 6. So very strong from Man United. They're up against a Newcastle side that have won 2 in a row by big margins, a 4-1 and a 5-1. And they look to be putting the pieces together now because they were struggling to kill games off. They kept drawing. They had 5 draws in their first 7 games, but 2 wins in a row. And they're starting to look very strong because they've only lost 1 game this season, a game they didn't deserve to lose. And yeah, I think Newcastle are going to take points off a lot of the big teams this season. And I think they're going to do it here as well. I don't think they'll win it, but I'm going to go down the middle. An exciting game, end to end, 1-1. Southampton take on West Ham. 2 teams that haven't had the greatest starts, but one of them is starting to show a bit of better form. And it's not Southampton. They've lost 4 in a row, lost the last one 4-0 against Man City, and only won 2 games so far this season. They look to be struggling. West Ham, on the other hand, won 3, and 2 of them have been their last 2 games. A 3-1 victory over Fulham was their last, and they're looking better. Scamacca is in good goal scoring form. They've got Paqueta, who is going to start getting more goal involvements, I'm pretty sure of that. Bowen's there, started scoring a few. Mikel Antonio can alternate with Scamacca. They've got some very good options. They've got a strong midfield. The defence is looking a bit better now as well. I think West Ham are going to start climbing. So this game, I'm going to go for the away side. I think Southampton will score, but West Ham to win 2-1. And the big one, Liverpool up against Man City. The top 2 teams in the country for the last few seasons. I know there was one where Liverpool didn't finish in the top 2, but on average, these are the 2 that always challenge each other. No one else ever comes close. But Liverpool are in a bit of a sticky patch. 3 games in a row, no wins, 6 goals conceded, and they lost their last one 3-2 against Arsenal. Liverpool aren't in great form, and they're going to be a bit worried because Man City are the opposite. They're smashing it, the only unbeaten side left in the Premier League, won their last game 4-0 against Southampton, full of goals. Haaland is just going to break loads of records, and he's probably going to get a couple here. Liverpool are capable of anything. They could just click, have a brilliant game. In midweek, they beat Rangers 7-1. Salah got the quickest hat-trick in Champions League history. So we know what they're capable of, but they were playing Rangers, and Rangers at their best aren't a challenge to a top Premier League side. A lot of Scottish fans will probably hate me, but I don't think at their best they're really challenging. And I know they did brilliantly in the Europa League last season, but I don't really think they're much of a challenge. And I think at their worst, which is what they seem to be at the moment in the Champions League, they're probably a relegation side in the Premier League. So it's fair play to Liverpool. They beat what was in front of them. But I think as soon as that game went 3-1, Rangers just lost it. They couldn't really do anything. They weren't arsed. They knew they were out of the Champions League. So yeah, I feel like I'm taking something away from Liverpool, but Liverpool fans, don't get too excited that you just beat Rangers 7-1, because Man City are a different kettle of fish. Haaland on fire, and I think that Man City are going to get all 3 points here. But I want it to be exciting, and this is a scoreline I always use in the big games. But Man City to win it 3-2. So those are my predictions for these Premier League fixtures. Do you think I'm going to get 4 scores correct? Probably not, but let me know down in the comments and let me know your predictions down there as well. Make sure to hit that like button, subscribe to the channel if you're new, and hit the notification bell so you don't miss out on any more Premier League content.